This podcast is for entertainment and commentary purposes only. The views expressed by the hosts and guests are their own and do not reflect any organizations or affiliates. This show may contain adult language and mature themes. Listener discretion is advised. Portions of media may be used under fair use for commentary and criticism. Nothing discussed on this podcast should be taken as professional, legal, or financial advice.
Come on, bro.
Well, how is everybody's day? I am JM. Digz is either late or absent. We're going to find out more. He's just dealing with some stuff. So we're just going to kick it off right here, right now. With me in the background, as always, controlling the show is Sanchez. What's going on, brother?
Hey, how you doing, man? Feeling good, feeling motivated, as always.
There you go. There you go. So we had an historic day, I would call it, in the world of gaming. It was the official day where Netflix dropped for the first, 6 hours?
Yeah.
6 hours ago. They dropped a GTA 6, enhanced look or whatever they called it, but it was absolutely incredible in my opinion. The internet is just on fire right now, whether it's just people saying how much they loved it or you got your haters out there that can't get over their hatred for Rockstar and they hate it. Whatever it is, the content, it's all GTA 6, it's all positive. It in Rockstar's mind, even the negative publicity is good publicity for them. So and I think officially as of 9 o'clock, it's now up on YouTube. Is that it right there?
Yep. My quality's a little shot right now, so don't mind that. But yeah, it's officially up on on YouTube now.
Don't forget that Xbox news. Hey man, I'm just gonna cover GTA for the segment, and then we're moving on to sports. So, you want full on video game news? You got to go to Morning Rips or BRVG for that. This is my only gaming story of the pod. But yeah, Digz is dealing with some stuff. If he makes it, he makes it. If not. But we'll get more info on that as the episode goes on. But this was a lot more, Sanchez, than I actually anticipated. I was thinking, we heard so many different rumors of how this was going to play out. We heard it was going to be multiple episodes. That turned out to not be true. We heard out it was going to be 22 minutes. We actually got 27. And the impressive part of the hype for GTA 6, whether you love it or you hate it, was just what happened with this area of time, like from 3 o'clock in the afternoon to the 27-minute mark when most people finished watching it. In the first minute of it getting posted on Netflix was down. People were having multiple issues I saw with watching it on other people's content. Sanchez, I don't know if you saw this, but Tim the Tap Man, his reaction was like shit because it's kind of like the quality that we're showing now. It was like probably because of so many people watching it.
Yeah, that's what I think is going on. Like, I can't, if I put this thing, I have it on 720 now. It is crazy because this was happening a couple minutes ago on the Netflix site too. So there's just a lot of bandwidth going.
Yeah, we got very lucky in our playthrough. We had a little watch party in Sanchez's Discord server. And the quality was absolutely perfect for us for that first playthrough. We had no issues.
No, it's already at 99,000 views.
Jesus, it's crazy. But yeah, I mean, this broke the internet. Absolutely crazy. We'll deep dive into what we actually got from it in a second here. I heard the guy said that if they locked him up, he has the game set to be leaked. Well, We don't know how true any of that shit was. We do know that that guy cashed out his crypto today. He got himself about $260,000. So, you know, for everyone that thought that CyberLeaks was a hero, what's that sound like to you? It sounds like it was more of a money grab than doing what's right and fighting for digital games. So, hard copy games. So I don't know. Just kind of shady. That was a little shady in my opinion. You could have just, if you really cared about your cause, that you would think it just would be about the cause and not about introducing your own cryptocurrency and trying to make some quick money. But and again, if you compare all the leaks that we got from him to what we got today, it's almost like, you know what I mean? It's like you got like a old demo versus a new actual, like this was the gameplay trailer. So drop that zero, get with this hero. Okay. But anyway, let's deep dive into this and explain really what was announced with this gameplay trailer that we got today. It was obviously shown a lot more detail in the reworked movement, the running, the jumping, climbing, all feels smoother, looks smoother. You'll make many choices throughout the story, big, small, some minor ones can add up into larger consequences over time. Narrative designed for repeated playthroughs. Story is a directed experience, but the team has worked to connect your open world actions to the characters' identities and stories as much as possible. Missions can have multiple escape routes, let you choose between being in the driver's seat or shooting, different paths, etc. Lucia's ankle monitor plays a notable part in the story. Story designed to reward spending time in the world instead of just going from mission to mission. Is the romantic part on here, Sanchez?
Yeah, it's in there.
Okay.
It's a couple lines.
Oh, gotcha. Rockstar has blurred the lines between open world and main mission activities. If you're out on your own most of the day, you might get a text from Jason or Lucia, depending on who you're playing as, letting you know to lock up when you get home or letting you know they're going to bed. Ignoring these can affect your relationship. That's a really incredible feature. And I made a joke when we found that out, like, I'm probably going to have a shitty relationship with Lucia then, because I'm going to be ignoring all those texts. Pursuing a romantic relationship is up to you. Spending time together outside the main story builds up their romance. You can explore Leonida together, go shopping, visit hair salons, exercise, commit robberies, and more together. Even if Jason and Lucia aren't close romantically, missions can be affected by how close or distant they are to each other.
I like that.
Yeah. No specific gameplay benefits to the romance. It's a role-playing decision for the player to make. Well, that line's kind of... that contradicts the previous line.
Yeah, it does contradict. Yeah, because I don't know whoever... Jay was the one that sent me this. But the thing that's very interesting about that, it's like, so it doesn't affect story, right? But it affects the way that they emotionally are with each other during their missions is what I'm getting at from that.
Yeah. Okay. You can hold hands while out in the world with the right trigger, open doors for each other, etc. Jason and Lucia live together and operate on their own schedules to make... See, this line right here, we don't actually know that right away. Because we know Jason has a house.
2 different apartments.
And then this today we found out that Lucia has her own apartment. So that doesn't actually... Maybe eventually in the story they live together, but they do not, I don't think, right away. Get up, have a cup of coffee, shower, get dressed, go out for a little exercise, etc. Random line. Who the hell wrote this? Other people may pop up in and out of these safe houses. Like RDR2, you can customize your hair, facial hair, new styles at the salon. Jason and Lucia can own multiple vehicles, each with working trunks. Obviously, trunks are going to be a big part of this game because that's where you're going to store all your weapons, and you're only going to have a limited amount of decisions to make with all that. You can store a change of clothes and weapons in the trunk, help with fights, and escaping police. All right, I didn't even think about the change of clothes. That's actually dope. So that makes sense. Going to the gym increases muscularity and strength. Eating provides a substantial health boost. Overeating will make you gain weight. Map described as very big, but no definitive size given. We had a couple different examples today, and we just couldn't really make sense of them. But I guess almost safe to say double the size at least of.
That's what it sounds like. I mean, it kind of sounds like it's going to be about the size of like maybe Cyberpunk's map, if not bigger.
Okay.
Because Cyberpunk's map is huge, and that's probably the best comparison that I could have for it.
Tons of random events occur naturally in the world. Example, giving pills to a sketchy lawyer sitting in a dumpster, and he'll send you legal advice. Fast travel with Ride Me taxi app. On top of that, though, we got confirmation you can fast travel with a bus. You can fast travel with a taxi. But I'm sure the cell phone is one thing that we didn't get shown, but by the sounds of it, it's going to be very, very, a very big part of this game. Like as much as a cell phone is big in your real life. So, yeah, the game is, let me catch up on chat. The game is going to be like Halloween 3. You guys are going to be playing it and getting brainwashed. So you're playing as a bank robber. We don't really have the full details of the backstory of these characters, besides the fact that we know Lucia is getting out of jail.
Yeah, we know one of them is a bank robber. That Raul guy.
Yeah, they definitely start working with some shady characters.
Yeah,
but yeah, I don't really know the details on all that. And damn, what is there? No escape from cell phones? No, I guess not. But you know, it's funny. Like if you think of, well, I know D probably doesn't play them, but GTA 5, we didn't see the cell phone become a huge factor in the story mode. It had a few missions where you use it. They didn't start making that cell phone like a big feature until later on the development of GTA Online. And then it's funny, if you go back to GTA 4, like that was really the first like cell phone that appeared in the corner of your screen. So like, you know, the cell phone's kind of been, you know, going through its own growth over these series, because you know GTA 3 had a pager. Remember the fucking pager?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been a bunch of different versions of the cell phone we've seen over the last few GTAs. So this will probably be the most advanced one. So, like they said, they got a Ride Me app, which is probably like Lyft or Uber or whatever. You can talk to other passengers, have full conversations with them in taxis, browse apps on your phone like Snapmatic, Instagram parody, Lurk, follow their accounts. Tons of mini activities, kayaking, mini golf, pool, going to the zoo, scuba diving, parachute, jumping, gym, etc., etc. Tons of NPC variety and body types. The game dynamically retargets animations depending on their size, so they interact with the environment as realistically as possible. Tons of interactivity in every environment. NPCs operate on an evolved system from RDR2. Notice you eavesdropping, can confront you if they think you overstepped, etc. Jason and Lucia can spontaneously propose nearby activities or jobs. Wanted level. Crimes must first be witnessed by an NPC or alarm triggered before it kicks in. 6-star wanted level system returns. 3 stars can be hard to escape if you're in the city unless you have a fast car. Police can learn what you look like and what you're wearing, indicated by different icons under your wanted level on the HUD. Changing your hair will remove the appearance icon, but police still know what you're wearing, so you'll need to change clothes too. They also have an indicator for the car. If they have the description of the car, you're gonna have to get the fuck out of that car. We saw that in the trailer today, where they actually had to do a switch, where they burnt the car they were being chased in and they switched into a van. That was really cool. You can split up if you're on the run, tell your partner to flee, or take the heat yourself. You don't have to kill enemies in shootouts. You can incapacitate them by shooting them in the legs or arms. We did see pieces of that by one of the shootout gameplay scenes in the trailer. It was like Jason and Lucia were working security for some sort of executives or something like that, and it's almost like they brought back. There's like a version of Red Dead Redemption 2's Deadeye, but what's cool about it is it actually shows your kill points in red and injury points in yellow. So he could have, like in one scene I saw specifically, he could have shot the guy in the shoulder and probably incapacitated him, but everything in that thing was like a straight up headshot. So, really cool and how much detail they're really adding into all this. You're not expecting a system shutdown because too many people are trying to download the game. Well,
Oh, absolutely.
yeah, that's going to be a problem. Yeah, that's definitely going to be a problem. Just by seeing what happened to Netflix today shows that, yeah, like Sony and Xbox are going to have an issue with people trying to download that game all at the same time. And what's going on, Kyler? How you doing? Welcome to the chat. But back to the list. What did I leave off? Your behavior affects how the world and people in it react to when free roaming and how the main story plays out. Unnecessary violence and mayhem or being a good citizen, such as throwing your trash away, affects your criminal profile. Money is more important here than past GTA games, sometimes requiring you to have a certain amount to continue the story. Main ways to make money are boosting, selling cars, holding up businesses, robbery, bank heists. Police can build a presence outside of a bank, store, and wait for you to come out, though many offer alternative ways of escaping, like a back door. Stealing vehicles isn't as simple as before. Cars are now on a tier system, with more expensive ones being tougher to get into. You can scan cars using the Wink phone app, which tells you how much it's worth, how much it'll cost to register. Damn, they got the price of registry in this shit.
They got the Carfax in here, man. They put Carfax in the game.
If it's locked or alarmed, it has a tracker. Yeah, it'll tell you all that stuff. And then just like Red Dead Redemption 2, the biggest thing I think that's an addition to this game, it's like they added way too late to, well, it was in the original GTA 5, but very minuscule, and originally it was only in story. They didn't add it to online mode till recent years, and allowed you to get some benefits of hunting online in GTA 5, but that all came after Red Dead Redemption 2. So seeing pretty much an enhanced version of the hunting in Red Dead Redemption 2 come to GTA, I think is a big thing, because that was like, I played so much Red Dead 2, and I love the stories and all the other violence that you can do in the game, but to just sit back and relax some days and just hunt. I used to do that a lot, dude. I used to just do a lot of hunting, and to have that option, and then that's probably right there a big reason why like you won't have a good relationship with Lucia. If you take Jason into the fucking woods and spend fucking a week hunting, she's gonna be pissed. So the trailer was definitely way more than we expected. We got so many details in gameplay. Saw so many different things that we were definitely wondering. One of the biggest things I saw was the driving, the physics of the car driving, I should say. It looks like they kind of mixed what we got with GTA 5, but you feel like there's a little bit of those physics from GTA 4 in there. You can kind of see the suspension of the car, kind of like when you take a hard turn, you see the weight distribution of the car on the suspension. I mean, so much detail, and it's good to see a little bit of that back. I hope it's not exactly like 4, as it was hard to drive in 4, depending on the vehicle you had. 5 was obviously designed in the favor because they knew they were going online with it in a more massive way. So they wanted the driving to be a little bit more manageable. But still, like, even if you drive like a fucking giant SUV in GTA 5, it's not easy to drive going full speed. So there's always that aspect too. So I mean, there's so much to unwrap here. Little things like we were talking about was like the branding of all the, products and companies and everything in the game has been, they already had a lot of brands after GTA 5 and GTA Online, but to think about how many they've had to add for this game, there was one specific scene where Lucia is talking to Jason literally in her apartment, and they're getting ready to go out, and she can't decide what outfit to wear. And in the background, they're in the bathroom, and then you see all these bathroom products that you would normally see in a bathroom, shampoo and like fucking sunscreen and fucking lotion,
an exorbitant amount too, like not just like 5 or 6 of them. It was everywhere.
Right. And then you actually can read the label on those things, and they have their own specific branding, and it's like the amount of detail that went into this is just absolutely absurd. But yeah, and then we saw some other things too. I don't know if it was just really an effect in that first scene where the guy speared the guy through the wall. I don't know if that's something
that was very cinematic.
That actually, like that moment right there, that's what brought up the tone of the trailer. Because at that point it started very calm. You started feeling the anticipation something was going to happen. Then the shooting starts. You don't even make it fully down the hallway, and then this dude's getting speared to a fucking wall, and you're just like, holy shit.
It just reminded me of like old GT. Like, I don't know. I felt like there was a return to form, right? Like you just got that feeling. It just felt like a GTA game. Like you were right back in it.
Very true. Very true. Sorry if I seem distracted. Fucking Patriots just threw another interception. So this is I don't even know what. I gotta turn this off. That being in front of me was just a bad idea. Yeah, the Patriots are getting spanked right now. Week 3 of the preseason. Thank God it's the last one. But yeah, I mean, when and then they kind of the way they told this, they used this gameplay trailer, and then they kind of like told a story with it. Like it was like they get you so high, and then after that they escape that situation. Then you end up in the apartment, and it's kind of calmed down, and then they build you back up. And it was the way they edited it together was kind of very unique for a game. Like when you see a gameplay trailer, like what's a good example? Oh, like when we got the fucking Wolverine one. Like it's just like rapid fire. Like let's just show you the action. You know what I mean? But this was kind of like you went
brought you all over the place.
Yeah, it brought you on a ride. Like it would bring you up and then bring you down, and you know what I mean? It was definitely like a roller coaster. But I definitely made me look forward to now that I know what we're getting. I know what we're playing. It definitely made me look forward to it. So yeah. So we did get word that Digz will not be joining us tonight. So hopefully he's all good over there. And we get him back next week. But do you have anything you want to add, Sanchez, to the? Because I know you and Gio are gonna break this down. I don't know if you're doing it tomorrow morning or you're doing it Saturday.
No, we're actually not on tomorrow morning. I'm going on a trip tomorrow morning.
Okay.
But Saturday, we're definitely going to be bringing it up, talking about some things that we enjoy. I don't think there was anything that we didn't like, to be honest with you. There wasn't anything in there that I could say anything negative about it. It was really, really good.
And I got to say, Gio actually seemed like he was impressed with what he was seeing, because he was pissed when the fucking pre-orders came out. He couldn't get over that.
Because it wasn't the story that got him. It was the things that you can do, like, oh, you can do this, you can do that. Like to hear him actually kind of excited for it, it was very interesting. And the only thing I do want to add is that this Red Dead Redemption engine that they use, whatever Rage engine they used, if they upgraded it from Red Dead or if they're using the same one, it just looks fantastic. It looks so good. Everything. Yeah.
There was a few scenes I pointed out to you earlier. We should have screenshotted them, honestly, but we didn't think about that shit. But just certain characters, like if you just took a screenshot of them in the trailer, you would be like, "That's a real person." Like you would actually, you'd borderline be like, "Is that AI? Is that a real person?" No, it's GTA 6. Like it's fucking crazy, the realism in this. little details too, like when they were in the
Slim
elevator.
Jim.
Oh, the Slim Jim. Yep.
I'm so excited about the Slim Jim.
Yeah, the older cars, you can just use a Slim Jim, just break right into it. You don't have to break the window. That is still an option though. The typical way to break into a car from in GTA.
That thing.
And then we you know, throughout the leaks, we were told that there's the cloning of the key feature. Also for the so there's going to be tiers of cars, like I read, and it seems like in the city to really be able to escape, you're going to need a car that's not very new. In the big chase in the trailer, they were in what the hell's that thing called? A Schefter or something like that? That car they were driving?
The black one?
Yeah, it's Gay Tony's car in GTA 4's expansion, and then they brought the car back with the nightclub update to GTA Online. That was the same car they were driving in that chase scene, and I wonder if that car, like, this is what I wonder about what we've seen, because you brought up the Sentinel we saw, like an old school Sentinel, and
yeah, like a late '90s, early 2000s.
Nah, see, I think it's mid 90s. I think it's late. I think it's
mid 90s.
I think it's early to mid 90s, dude. I think it's older than that. Because that looked a lot like the taillights alone looked like a fucking Corolla my mom had in the fucking 90s.
The canopy was very like mid 90s too. Like the way that canopy was. So yeah, I could see that.
I usually judge the year of a car by their taillights, headlights style, because manufacturers seem to copy each other a lot with that shit. In those eras, I think nowadays you see that manufacturers go like far away from each other. Not all of them, but a lot of them. So yeah, the tier is what really is interesting me, because like, does that mean when you get into a car, does it give you a year with the make and model? That'll be fucking dope. You know what I mean? Because we never got that variety, but you know, throughout the lifespan of GTA Online, we've gotten so many versions of one car. You've seen like I think the Sentinel now has like 4 versions on GTA Online.
Yeah, I think so too. And they even have the old school one from the old games in there now too. That was the latest one, I think, right?
Right. So like, yeah, I be interested to see, like, you steal a car, it actually give you a year with the make and model. Like you're driving a 95, whatever. You know what I mean? That'd be fucking dope. So we'll see how that works, to see if that's in there, or they just give you like a tier level or something like that. So, you know, this is old, this is newer, you know what I mean? All the way up. So a lot of questions still to answer, but I was super happy and satisfied with it. I'll probably watch it a few more times before the fucking game comes out. Definitely. Yeah. The crazy thing about it, like I said, it crashed Netflix within the first minute of it being dropped. And then it was getting so many people were streaming it on Twitch that Twitch was literally holding on by a thread to not completely shut down. A lot of the features of Twitch was not available when you're surfing through streams. You could, the categories were broken. Your follow list on the side was going on and off. Like, it was just causing a massive implosion on the internet. So
a lot of people that probably didn't have Netflix either, that went to their favorite content creator to watch it.
Exactly. And then like right now, like Sanchez tried to have the YouTube version that just dropped at 9 p.m. Play, and obviously that's getting a lot of traffic right now. Probably a lot of people screen recording it. So yeah, it definitely broke the internet today. So I don't know if we're going to be getting any more leaks until the game release, but Rockstar did give us something to hang on to until then. So super looking forward to GTA 6, and yeah, definitely enjoyed the trailer. But what is next on the agenda for the night? We got we'll go through the scores for last week's preseason games real quick. Can you just put up an NFL logo? Do you happen to have one? Okay, good. Thanks. Yeah, I'm just gonna read it like this. That drove me crazy last week. I couldn't really get any rhythm going. But yeah,
if you want the week one, if you click that link, there's like a whole like banner there that you could click for the week.
No, I got what I got. We already did week one last week though.
Yes, we did.
So I'm doing week two, which was last week's games during the pod, and then right now, as we're talking, week three's underway.
Yep,
and we'll go by those scores next week. But yeah, so week two of the preseason last week, the Lions lost to the Bengals 16-14. The Steelers whomped the Packers 28-9. The Patriots wait, this is week one. The fuck? I'm an idiot. Sorry. I'm going through the same list. All right, let's start that again. All right, last Thursday, the Raiders beat the Texans only by 2 points, 22-20. The 49ers whomped the Chargers 41-17. The Jets beat the Steelers 17-0. The Panthers beat the Jaguars 34-17. The Packers defeated the Broncos 33-13. The Commanders defeated the Lions defeated the Commanders 17-13. The Bills killed the Browns 31-7. Falcons destroyed the Colts 34-6. Ravens beat the Vikings 13-3. And the Saints got shut out by the Rams 34-0. The Giants beat the Dolphins 26-3. And the Bengals defeated the Bears 27-9. The Patriots had an upset win in the last quarter, 24-21. And the Chiefs lost to the Buccaneers by 1 point. It was 16-15. And then the Cowboys whomped the Cardinals 34-13. And the last game was the Titans beating the Seahawks by 3 points, 19-16. So those are your week two preseason scores from last week. We'll have week three next week, and then we'll get into a breakdown of what we're looking forward to in week one of the regular season, because that is right around the corner. But yeah, we got to get into our NFL story of the week, and this was embarrassing. So, if you're a San Francisco 49ers fan, you're probably not going to be a fan of this story, but it was the owner of the 49ers, Jed York, who was arrested this week for being in a trailer park, and he was attempting to pay a prostitution. The cops caught him red-handed, were able to pull him over because it was a sting operation, which obviously that's got some controversy of its own behind it, but we'll continue with the story. But York was arrested Sunday in East Palestine, Ohio, during an undercover prostitution sting conducted by the Mahoning Valley Human Trafficking Task Force. According to reports, York had responded to an online advertisement that was actually part of an undercover operation. The investigators say he arranged to pay around $160 for an hour of sexual activity. He showed up at a mobile home community in a rental Volkswagen SUV, and that's where police intercepted him. Now, the reason this story is getting even more attention is because police body cam footage was just released. I watched that 2 days ago. It shows York being pulled out of the vehicle and handcuffed. He's wearing a Yankees t-shirt, basketball shorts, and sneakers. And he genuinely appears surprised by what's happening. At one point, he asked the officers, "Can I ask you what you're doing?" When they asked him what he's doing in the area, he says, "Just driving." And when they ask if he's meeting anybody, he says no. Police then search the vehicle, find several $100s in cash, along with 2 cell phones. Investigators were reportedly able to connect to one of those phones to the messages arranging the meeting. Now, here's where we need to make an important distinction, because the headline makes it sound like Jed York was convicted of prostitution. That's not actually what happened. He was initially charged with engaging in prostitution and possession of criminal tools, but the prostitution charge was later amended to disorderly conduct. York ultimately pleaded no contest to disorderly conduct and possession of criminal tools. He received a 1-day jail sentence credited as time served and was fined $1,150. So legally, the prostitution charge itself is not what he ended up pleading to, but the story isn't necessarily over the York necessarily over for York because the NFL is now looking into the situation. Commissioner Roger Goodell confirmed that the league is reviewing the case under the NFL's personal conduct policy. So now the question becomes whether the league believes York's actions warrant some kind of punishment, and that's where this gets really interesting because we're not talking about a player here. We're talking about the principal owner of the San Francisco 49ers. The legal case may be resolved, but the NFL's investigation is still ongoing, and it's going to be interesting to see whether the league treats an owner the same way it might treat a player in a similar situation. And over the years, in these situations, we've seen owners get special treatment, right? Robert Kraft got fucking part of some sting operation in Florida at a Chinese massage parlor where he was getting more than a massage. And then the old owner of the Colts who passed away, Jim Irsay. I mean, he got bagged up on a DUI and he had a pharmacy with him. And like, even though he, had to pay the price legally for that stuff. And, honestly, Kraft, I don't know. He dodged that shit like the Matrix. I don't know how he got away with that shit, but the league really didn't come down on them like you would expect if that happened to a player. So it will be interesting to see how the NFL handles it because it is an owner, and I think Jed might get a slap in the wrist by the league because of the way the charges were amended, and then also the fact that he didn't actually take place in any type of criminal act besides attempting a criminal act, I would call it. So I do think he's going to get a slap in the wrist. Also because he's a principal owner of one of the most historic teams in the league as well. So that doesn't actually help. Like, how's the league going to punish one of the most loved franchises in the NFL? It's going to be tough. So yeah, all in all, I kind of think he's just going to get a slap on the wrist. But what do you think? You got anything to add to that?
It's a very interesting situation because, like I was telling you earlier, we've seen this stuff in a bunch of Cops episodes, and that whole, I'm not a lawyer or anything like that, but it looks like entrapment, and stuff like that. But again, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know how that stuff works or what legalities or powers that they have to be able to do that, right?
Right. What's the law? And what's the law? Because he got caught in Ohio. Obviously, he lives in California primarily because that's where his business is. What's the difference in law from California to Ohio? He did say he's originally from Ohio, but like, what are the laws for a police department to be able to put together a sting like that? A sting op like that's going to be fucking. It's a lot of time. They got a whole task force just dedicated to setting people up like they're going to get some action, and then they show up and they don't get shit because the law is kind of weird there. I mean, and I said this right before we went live, what bothers me about this is, okay, prostitution's illegal, but it's the act of prostitution that's illegal, right? So that's what kind of bothered me about the intent is illegal as well, at least in Ohio. I don't know how the laws really work in this shit, but you would think you'd have to get caught in the act for something like prostitution, but the laws would be looser for our next story that we're going to get into, for guys that are looking up children on the internet and trying to meet up with children. Like, that would be, in my opinion, what there should be a law for. If you get caught trying to meet up with a minor, there you go, sting operation, arrest them. That's what you should get arrested for. Just like our doc of the day, or at least one of them. We're going to do two tonight. But our first one is, drumroll please, The Sick Mind of EDP445. Now, I got to say, I've watched a lot of tough, dark documentaries in my life, but this had to be the toughest thing to get through I've ever watched. It just screamed evil. Like, I really do think that this man, EDP, is the embodiment of evil. The way his mind works, the way he rationalizes his decisions, the way he defends his decisions and actions, and has no remorse and thinks he's done nothing wrong in his life, is absolutely mind-boggling. So we'll go through the overview and then we'll dive into this. But The Sick Mind of EDP445 is a cinematic true crime type documentary directed and produced by filmmaker Mike Klum, who did an excellent job with this, by the way, except for a couple things I don't think needed to be added, but we'll get to that later. It explores the rise and fall of current day-to-day life of Bryant Moreland, better known as a disgraced internet personality, EDP445. His rise to internet fame through the persona, Bryant Moreland built a following of over 2 million subscribers on YouTube by posting raw, aggressive, and often comedic rants, mostly focused on his love for the Philadelphia Eagles, alongside food vlogs and personal commentary. But there were warning signs. The film details how his online persona steadily devolved into erratic, hypersexualized, and controversial behavior long before his ultimate exposure. The 2021 Predator Sting and Fall. The Exposure, the documentary revisits the infamous April 2021 online sting operation where Moreland was caught exchanging explicit messages in attempting to meet a decoy posing as a 13-year-old girl in Bakersfield, California. The Cupcake Meme. It reviews the confrontation footage where Moreland admitted to messaging the minor and offered the viral, heavily memed excuse that he only came to the location to pick up a cupcake. Deplatforming. Following the incident, major social media platforms and YouTube permanently terminated his channels. Life after cancellation and controversial claims. Day-to-day reality, the film follows Moreland's isolated routine and attempts to navigate everyday life in Bakersfield after losing his career, income, and public standing. Lack of accountability. Through direct interviews, Moreland attempts to rationalize and deflect his actions, leading to widespread viewer backlash. Most notably, he claims in the film that God saved him from an arrest during a separate, similar situation involving another alleged minor. Personal life. The project features unexpected access to his personal life, including introducing a girlfriend named Marissa. And then, of course, the famous bitch list. During the documentary, EDP has a segment to name off some of his least favorite content creators, including how do you pronounce this? Is it Penguinzo? I can't hear you. Penguinzo? See, the Penguins, I don't know what it is. But yeah, him, Keemstar, Mudhar, Hassan Piker, Asmongold, Aiden Ross, Pokimane, SS Sniper Wolf, Colleen Ballinger. There you go. I hear you. Destiny, Oompaville, and Ethan Klein.
Yeah, it's Penguin Zero, but he's also Moist Critical, Charles White Jr. He, that was yeah, so many content creators, and then naming Pokimane, Sniper Wolf, and Carol Bagging or something like that. I forgot what the lady's name.
Colleen Ballinger.
There it was. Yeah, I've never even heard of her before.
Legal and cultural impact, aesthetic and style. Klum utilizes a high production cinematic true crime style with dramatic musical scores and reenactments, which drew viral attention and online debate regarding whether it over-dramatized Moreland. Klum maintained that the goal was to unvarnish character profile rather than glorification. And then legal re-examination. Following the documentary's viral release on YouTube, public outrage over why Moreland had initially evaded criminal prosecution intensified, prompting local authorities in Kern County, California, to re-examine the 2021 cupcake incident. Because I guess it's still inside the statute of limitations. But honestly, I don't know. I don't think they can revisit it because what's that guy's name? Which guy was that?
Alex Rosen.
Yeah, he fucked that up so bad that I don't think legally they have anything they can get him, charge him.
Yeah, agreed.
So, yeah, there's not much you're going to really be able to do about that.
Yeah.
But you know,
Chris
I think
Hansen went in on them too. Like he
another
roasted the shit out of them.
Yeah, that was another big part of it. And then the other big part was the other girl that he was talking to that was underage at that time. I think she's 18 or older now. But, you know, what was these two creators that were involved in that?
Gideon and Skeeter Jean and the Lockout. Watching this, you'd learn a lot about them.
Yeah, you definitely see that the popularity in content creation is kind of warped their minds and their justifications on exactly, you know, I understand there's like a category now of like predator chasing, right? But I mean, if you're just doing it for the views and you want the content to be successful and you're not even doing it to get these people locked up, then I don't understand why they're doing it. Like, it's like when you watch a documentary about somebody that murdered people or did something to kids like that, usually at the end, you want to see them get prosecuted and get what was coming to them, right? But these content creators are not doing any of that shit for any of those reasons. They're going through the whole sting operation process just to get a video of them approaching them, and they're not cops. They're not investigators. They're not agents of any police agency or any type of authority-based system. So,
which makes it way more dangerous by two.
Right. And so you really are only going to be able to expose them on the internet, which, yeah, I do understand in today's society is devastating, but at the same time, you're not actually getting them in trouble. So that's what's mind-boggling to me. At a certain point, don't you want to get the fucking get law enforcement involved so they can actually do something about this? You're actually allowing the guy to be set free at some point to do it again, and next time might not get caught.
I'm actually surprised that Vasily wasn't in this documentary either, because he's another one of those like pred catching content creators that goes off the wall, and you know he was in jail recently too for acting up as well. You know, and it everything that I actually it gave me a perspective of what they do compared to how Chris Hansen does it. Right. You know, and you like you're saying, with Chris Hansen, they get prosecuted. They get arrested.
Is he, and is he perfect? No. He some of those shows he fucked up and they got away. And there's a risk there. But like you said, for a lot of them, you did see some justice get put into the situation, and that's what you want to see out of the situation. But yeah, there was some people that, he also assumed were bad and they were actually trying to help, and then they edited the show to make that person look like a pedophile, and then it ruined that person's life and he committed suicide, right? So Chris Hansen had that whole incident happen.
Yeah, I've heard that story too, yeah.
Like it wasn't like a typical sting. Like there was a sting that happened, right? And then a guy showed up because it was like an apartment building. And this guy they thought was the target, and he wasn't the target. This guy came in and said, "What are you doing here alone?" And then how the plant, they were trying to, they're trying to bait you into thinking it's like sexual. And this guy was just turned off about it. What are you doing? No, you shouldn't. Where's your parents? You shouldn't be doing that. Well, the team, Hansen and his production team, they took all this, edited that stuff out where he's actually trying to tell the girl no, and cut it up into a way it made him look bad. And then the guy, it goes on TV, and then this guy's life's ruined, and he was just trying to help. And then you know what happened? When that guy got arrested that night, the real guy that they were doing the sting came in the building and then saw the cops and bounced. So they lost their target. But, from
again, like you said, no one's perfect, right?
Right. But the guys on YouTube and doing it for content, short form content too, and guys, you guys gotta get prosecutions. You guys gotta get these people actually in trouble with the law. You can't just sit there and do it for your own content, your own purposes. Gideon pushing a 15-year-old girl to continue talking to EDP. Do I believe that he pushed her to do some of the things that were done? Not necessarily. But the fact that she got contacted by EDP, that your advice to that 15-year-old girl, if you knew her, would be like, stop talking to him and tell the police. Right? That should have been the only thing said. Stop talking to him.
I agree.
And call the police.
Yeah. That's simple.
Yeah. So I don't get it. But yeah, so even though we get 2 doc of the days today, this is the first. Even though I put it as a doc of the day, would I recommend it to everyone? Absolutely not. You need to have first off, you got to be an adult to watch this. I don't recommend this to anyone under the age of 18 to watch. It's pretty brutal to get through. And then on top of that, you're gonna need a very open mind, because this guy, just the way he talks about his masturbation issues and his health issues and he's just got a very crazy open way of talking about himself, and it gets very, very fucking disturbing. And then just some of the ways that some scenes that they shouldn't have had in here. They were trying to prove that, he's good to have around kids. It's not like the allegations aren't true. So like they put him in this awkward scene with his fucking friend's kid, and it just seems so inappropriate. And like it wasn't like he did anything sexual to the kid, obviously, because they're filming it. But the fact that the way he was talking, the way he normally talks in front of this kid, was absolutely mind blowing. That his parents would be okay with him speaking that way, dropping F-bombs, both F-bombs, multiple times, saying some crazy shit, everything you could think of under the sun. Right while he sits on a bed with no fucking bed frame on the floor. You know what I mean? With this kid, it just screamed inappropriate. And then how he is such an idiot that he allowed this scene to be filmed and put into the fucking documentary after you've been fucking accused of being a fucking child fucking molester. So like, he's a moron in himself to even allow this scene to be filmed the way it was. Wouldn't you think if you're going to be proven that you can be around kids, you do it in the fucking living room? Like, do it on a couch or something, or a fucking kitchen table, something that doesn't look as like fucking awkward as that. Like, I didn't understand that.
Not some bed you do disgusting shit on.
Yeah, fucking Mike Klum definitely. I feel like he staged that scene to make EDP look worse, even worse. I do think it was a stage, just because EDP's a moron and didn't even see with the way that all looked, dude. Just by the lighting alone. That was crazy. That was fucking crazy. So yeah, it's a hard documentary to digest, and even when you're done, you're just like, holy shit! Like, what a mind job. So, well, I got one more doc of the day, and then we're gonna get out of here for the night. And this was one I just watched this week. This is a sequel episode of a documentary. Back in 2022, we got another documentary about Boeing. This is the second, and it's really to finish off where the first one started. Free for All Reckoning for Boeing is a 2026 investigative documentary directed by Rory Kennedy that examines systematic safety failures and corporate culture at Boeing. Overview and released on Netflix on August of 2026, served as a follow-up or sequel to Kennedy's 2022 documentary, Downfall, the Case Against Boeing. And it only runs about 93 minutes. The key themes and subjects starts with the whistleblowers, focuses heavily on internal whistleblowers like the late John Barnett, utilizing audio and video records following his tragic death in March of 2024. Manufacturing Practices explores allegations regarding the use of subpar or scrap parts on the 787 Dreamliners and shortcuts taken during production. Corporate Greed contrasts rising corporate profits and executive compensation with declining manufacturing standards and a pervasive culture of retaliation against employees who raise safety concerns. Current operational status, labor relations facing potential strike actions after members of the Society of Professional Engineering Employees in Aerospace, representing roughly 17,000 workers, rejected a contract offer with a contract expiration and strike authorization looming in October of 2026. Program timelines, working through ongoing certificate delays for the 737 MAX 10 and 777-9 aircraft while managing quality, safety, and manufacturing oversight. So the real breakdown of this documentary in the first one from 2022 is just Boeing used to be an historic company in not just like obviously the world, because there's airplanes from Boeing all over the fucking world, but it was an American-made corporation, and in the old days, it was one of the for everybody that used to work for the company, it was an incredible company to work for, and everybody felt confident and happy with the products that they were putting out. Over time, what happened to Boeing is literally the fact that it took on corporate pressure. It became corporate. It took on stock pressure. It seemed like the executive corporate side of the company could not relate to what was happening on the manufacturing line. So standards over the years started to fall. And then what this documentary really opens everyone's eyes to is the 787 Dreamliner was originally thought to be a project of billions of dollars. And what the executives at the top of Boeing decided was, hey, that's too much money. Can we cut it down to a lot less than that? So what did they do? They took this plane that was going to be fully made in America and then did what every other American company does, doesn't want to spend money. They start hiring third-party companies from other countries to make parts. And then they ship these parts to America and do the assembly in America. But then immediately what they realize is because you got this company from China and this company from Taiwan and this company from here and this company from here, all making different parts of the plane. Well, when they get to America and they're trying to assemble it, things aren't lining up. Things aren't working out. Putting the plane together is becoming a hassle.
Different materials, different screws, probably shit like that.
Right. And then what ends up happening is the safety, like making an airplanes, when you're making like airplanes like they make, you're talking about commercial airplanes that how many people a year are going to fly in, right? And airliners are going to buy fucking 20, 50, 100 of them, right? So there's a lot of safety guidelines they're supposed to be following, and the pressure from corporate hit the manufacturing side of the company, and they just started just dodging standards. And there's inside footage in this documentary where they're at work, people that work in the warehouse making these planes, and they're in the break room. This guy's got a cell phone. He walks up to his buddy like, hey, you can get a free vacation to Paris with your family, but you got to fly on a 787 Dreamliner. And his coworker looks into the camera and says, yeah, fuck you. Fuck that vacation. I'm not going anywhere. And he works there and he's building that plane. The people building the plane wouldn't even fly on the plane they're building. Like, it just shows and screams the corporate pressure and the neglect from these corporate bigwigs that want everything to be about money, profit margins, everything like that. But yet they do not realize that, or they just do not care about the fact that it's an unsafe plane to put into the air. It goes on even deeper than that because the whistleblowers are the ones that really start putting the heat on Boeing to be held responsible for a lot of the safety neglects. They had a series of planes that just started falling out of the sky. There was a time, I don't know if you remember, during Trump's presidency, the first presidency, he had to ground a whole bunch of Boeing jets because of how bad they were.
I do remember that.
So they got put on an investigation around that time. Well, now they were waiting. They were pretty much on a probation period by the government, and they had to prove that they would change things and be able to get their safety standards and everything back up. But then there's recently, I don't know if you remember this, there was that Boeing where the fucking emergency door just blew off the side of the plane and they had to emergency land.
Yes, I'm assuming that's where this picture's from.
Yes, exactly. It's exactly what it's from.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. Well, there's two things about that. The door blew the fuck out of the fucking plane, right? But the mask came down, and guess what? The fucking oxygen system wasn't working, so those masks didn't even work. So when you're that high at altitude, those masks, those masks supposed to save your life. If you don't have oxygen in a certain amount of time, you could die. So the fucking masks come down after the door blows out. People like there's an interview with a passenger on this plane. She's putting the mask on her child's face first, like they tell you to do. Help your child first. You know, when they tell, I don't know if you've been on a plane, but they tell you that at the beginning of it.
A while.
Like, oh, if the mask's released, please help your children or elderly first, and then put your mask on. Well, what happens when the fucking masks don't even work? Like, and guess what? The hero of the story was mentioned right away when I started reading the overview. It was where is it? John Barnett. Barnett. He kept every piece of documentation that he had that is years with the company, like decades with the company. And he pretty much got forced out of the company because he kept raising safety concerns. They wanted him to go away. They did not want him to be able to keep bringing this up. He has documentation of him bringing up the issue with the oxygen bags not properly working. They ignored him and relocated him to a different department. Years he was screaming to them from the rooftops, these planes are not safe. He caught them putting rejected parts. He used to organize the manufacturing line, parts that were come in defective, he'd put into a scrap pile and say throw away. And then he found out a superior came up, took all the parts out of the scrap pile, said, no, that's a waste of money, put them back on the line. They put defective parts on these planes. They were doing everything they could to cut corners. It was absolutely fucking ridiculous. And sadly, John Barnett just couldn't fucking really take it. He spent his life at that company. He gave them everything that he ever had, and then eventually he was forced to leave. He was forced to try to testify, but before he could actually testify against them, he couldn't take it, and he actually he killed himself. He killed himself right after a deposition, actually. So what happened after that, though? So many people that worked with Barnett over the years found out he passed away, and then he killed himself because of the pressure of the whole case. Whistleblowers then out of nowhere came out of the woodwork and said, you know what? We're doing it for him. Like, he made such an impact with the people that worked at that company, like the manufacturing side of it. Whistleblowers came out of the woodwork to scream and fight the fight he was fighting. And yeah, I don't know with the company of that size how much of an impact they're going to be able to make. You know, they've had planes fall out of the ground, fall out of the sky, and kill a lot of passengers. There's a lot of families that are fighting tooth and nail against Boeing for some recognition for what these planes are doing and the lack of safety procedures they're taking. So We didn't really get a resolve in this documentary. It's really to catch you up on the progress of everything since the 2022 incidents happened. But it definitely doesn't let you really trust going to your airport and flying after watching something like that. I feel bad for anyone that has to actually fly for a living to watch that, and then you have to get in a Boeing the next morning. Like, if you have to travel a lot for your job, and then you're fucking, hey, just watch this documentary, and then fucking you got to get on a Boeing the next day. That sucks, man. That sucks.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah. So the trust in the trust in the products. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I guess it's not enough just to buy a plane ticket. You're gonna be like, well, what are we flying on? What I want to know, if it's made by Boeing, I don't want to get on it. But that's the problem. In commercial flight in this country, you're mainly getting on Boeings. That's what you're mainly going to be driving or flying in. So it's tough. It's fucking tough. Anything you want to add on to that, Sanchez?
I haven't been on a plane since 2013, maybe. I'll never fly again. I've never been to Amsterdam. I've never been to France, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
I don't fly a lot either. I did when I was younger. My mom used to take me on vacations every year, but as an adult, I haven't flown that much over the years. Been in North Carolina. The last place I was actually a year before the Boeing shit happened. It was 2021. I went to North Carolina. That's the last time I was on a plane. I visited my grandmother on my father's side, because my mom had a dream or something saying she's not doing well. You need to go see her. My mom actually bought me the plane ticket to go see her, and then not even 2 months after I saw her, she passed away. My mom read that situation like crazy, and that was the last time I flew out of the state. So yeah,
I'm not much of a flyer, man.
Mm. Well, shit like this makes me rethink that whole thing anyway. I never had a problem with flying, but seeing shit like this makes me have a problem with it. So it makes me rethink about the whole scenario. So, but it is what it is. We're gonna call it a night there. I don't like doing the final cut without Digz. So we'll save his segment for next week. And hopefully we'll have him back for next week. So we appreciate everybody that tuned in today, that was in chat, and we also appreciate every listener that is listening after the fact on all of our other platforms that we are on. We will not see Clean Sanchez and Geo tomorrow morning. So make sure you check them out Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. BRVG will be lit and probably be covering a lot of GTA. So make sure you check that out. And then you can also check out all of our other shows on Clean Sanchez Media's family. We got Tito, we got DD214, and then, of course, Morning Rips will be back Monday morning at 10 p.m. So I appreciate everybody that was tuned in today. Thank you so much. And until next Thursday, 9 p.m. right here, we will catch you next time.